All right, you're listening to the Hellion Rocks. I'm here with guitarist from Crown by Fire, Justin Manning. Justin, what's been happening, brother?
Hey, how's everybody doing? Doing great, man.
Cool. I know Crown by Fire is continually evolving and getting better and better. You got a couple of new band members. You could share the light on that?
Yeah, totally, man. We've been talking about bringing in another guitar player now. It wasn't really something that I wanted to do. It was in the sense of really needing another guitar player. But there was a particular guy that I actually went to school with, grade school with, and I've known him ever since. And John and I, Crown by Fire, we played a show with this guy's band, with Mike's band, and his other band, the band he used to be in, I should say, the Bourbon Saints. And we played with them, and John came up to me and he was like, we need that guy. We need that guy in the band. I was like, yeah, totally, huh? He goes, dude, come on, think about it. I go, yeah, you're right. So we just pulled him aside and just said, hey, man, is this something you might be interested in? And I think his jaw was on the floor, because he was just like, oh my God, And then we kind of jerked him around for a better part of a year. He'd come over and sit down and work on the songs with me, and all we do is get drunk, and it's just kind of like. And I was, I had gone through a really horrible relationship, divorce kind of. I wasn't married, but I might as well have been. And so I was still kind of hobbling, trying to get back on my own 2 feet. So it was sort of difficult to really nail me down anyways, other than playing a gig. I'd show up, play the gig, and then, but anyway, so once I got myself sort of straightened out, it was a little easier to sort of take it on, and it was just kind of like, John and I would talk about it, and then it was just sort of like, okay, let's just do this. So we just basically, I pinned it down with Mike. I said, look, we're gonna work on the things, the different details of songs, and then you're just gonna come into rehearsal and you're just gonna play with us because you've already got the gig. It's just a matter of I don't want to go in there and have it be a clusterfuck, So he's like, what do you mean I already got the gig? How do you get into a band like Crown by Fire without trying out? You know what I mean? It's just the way it is. It's something like John and I have this sort of sixth sense. You just know when somebody is Crown by Fire material. You know what I mean? And so he came in and jammed with us, and the first note, because I'm running 2 Marshall stacks with the Les Pauls in stereo, and so I told him, I was like, you have to have the same, and he already had that equipment. So we're running 4 Marshall stacks in this room, right, with the dual Les Pauls, and it was the very first note, it was just holy shit. It was like a freight train, man.
That's funny you said that, because I know some of your shows you've done just recently. I've talked to people that have been to those, and that's what they described it as, was a wall of sound, freight train just crushing you. So you guys did good.
Yeah,
perfect fit.
Yeah, it's brutal. And then our last drummer, he was just kind of, I think he was just sort of petering out. We were touring a lot, and there was just too much going on, and he was in 2 other bands. And this guy, JP, I've had my eyes on for a while now, and I just kind of hit him up. I was like, hey, is this something you'd be interested in doing? He's like, absolutely, I'd love to do it. So we just kind of let the other guy go, so he could do his own thing and not be so stressed out. And he's a great addition, and of course we've had Chris Breedlove now for probably about a year, about a year now, and he's great. So honestly, it's the most hitting lineup Crown by Fire's ever had. The guys are all 1,010% in at all times. Everybody's got iPhones, so we were able to do the group texting. So it's a daily, 12 hours of Crown by Fire fucking comedy going at all times. And everybody's involved. Everybody's involved in making decisions. It's not just the John and Justin project anymore. And that's what we wanted. You know what I mean? we didn't want just, I mean, it was the John and Justin project out of necessity, you know, because
Right,
we never
right.
find guys, you know, serious enough to really, you know, do, you know, what they're supposed to do. So now we do, you know, so.
Cool. It's coming together. It's good. You got a solid you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of exciting.
It's really neat. It's really neat because I can just be a guitar player.
Right. Yeah.
I can just be like this creative piece, part of something. Like I don't have to be like, you know, a babysitter or a ball buster or a fucking somebody who's always gonna, you know, lecture everybody because they're not fucking serious enough and try to tell them what it really is gonna take. You know, and I don't have to do that anymore. All I got to do is just show up and be happy and play guitar and laugh. You know,
that's good. Yeah, that'll
bitching. Yeah,
that'll
super bitching. So
that'll reflect on your playing. That'll be, you know, that'll let you focus on that more instead of going, fuck, I got to do this, I got to do that. That makes it awesome.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, you guys are got some good news about your next record, right?
Yeah, the next record. And we're just going to do, what we're going to do is kind of taken after what Down's doing right now. I think that, you know, with the downloading, you know, people are only buying singles. I had some girl the other day tell me, I bought Witches in the Window. It was weird to me because it was like, you bought one song, there's 12 more, you know,
right.
11 more. You know, people don't buy records anymore. So that just goes to prove my point. So my whole thing was I was like, let's just knock out. We don't have the financing right now to do a full record, and full records are kind of not really what's happening. So I said, let's do 3 or 4 songs, you know, and release it. And in 6 months, we'll release another 3 or 4 songs. So what we're doing is we're doing 3 songs that are all singles. We're going to shoot a video for each of them simultaneously. So we have three different directors, and we're going to be shooting videos for each song at the same time, not obviously not on the same day, but during the same period of time. And we're actually may start here soon because all the pre-production, we've done pre-production demos for the songs. And basically all we're going to be doing is going back and replacing each of the tracks with, like, we're recording it at Zach Wild's house at the Black Vatican. So I'll be playing through his guitar gear and everything. So that will be, the guitar sound that exists now will be replaced with me playing through his shit. So, and the drums and so on and so forth. So anyways, we could start recording, start filming the videos now because of the fact that we already have these pre-production demos. So we don't have to wait. Normally you would have to wait till, you know, the record's done to start shooting a video, you know, for the song, but we already have the songs recorded and they're just simply going to be replaced. So, and I actually, for a day job, I actually work in the time code, make slates for the movie industry, you know, the things that you clap together and say action. And what they do is they sync together the audio and the video in big major motion pictures. So that's what I do for a living. So I know that this will work. You see, this is what I do.
Yeah.
So yeah. So what my plan is, and I'm hoping that this will work. My plan is to be able to release the singles so that people can digitally download them, buy them. You know, we may even give them away, make them free downloads, and release the 3 videos at the same time. Because right now, all of exposure and all of promotion and everything is all about YouTube and Facebook. I mean, it just is. I don't care if you're in, again, Down or Pantera or Black Label Society or any of the bands that we've kind of molded ourselves after. It's all about that fan base on Facebook and what videos they're posting to go by in the timeline. I mean, it just is. MTV don't play fucking videos no more.
That's a true fact.
It's free exposure. It's free exposure. So the thing is, if you have just one video, like with Witch in the Window, boom, it spiked up. I mean, it was like 5,000 hits in a week or something ridiculous. And then now it's like, 10 or 15 a week, we don't really push it that hard.
Right.
So my thing is like, if I did 3 videos simultaneously over a period of 3 months, and then release the music and release the videos all at the same time, according to my calculations, it should multiply it by, 3, thus turning into 9, and then, turning into kind of a giant snowball, and then follow that up with, the tour to the South. And so, when you're recording a record with somebody like Zakk Wylde, and you release that to the public, and with the everything that he's got going on, everything that we've got going on, and just everything all kind of, because it's all one big family of musicians, And so once the world realizes this, and we go and tour the South, I don't think that there's going to be any problem making some noise, and really kind of bring the band out into the forefront where I believe it belongs to be, So it's all just part of that's what basically my plan of attack is right there.
That's perfect. So talking about those videos, as dark as Witch in the Window is, are they going to continue that down that path?
The funny thing is that we did an interview yesterday, and we kind of were discussing that. No. Actually, no. Witch in the Window was meant to be very sort of like a B-rated sort of horror flick kind of thing. Right. There's a song that we're recording that's actually called Crowned by Fire. And it was the first song that we ever wrote, and that's how we got the name of the band. And but it didn't make it on Prone to Destroy, because once I'll get to the video thing here in a second. It's actually, this is really funny. Once we finished recording all 13 songs, we realized that the bridge in Crowned by Fire was the same as the bridge in Black Moonshine. I had played the same riff twice in 2 different songs and didn't know it, because there were so many songs that, like, I don't know, you sing something different over it, so I didn't really think about it. The guys were like, oh, no, just keep it, whatever, it's cool. I'm like, no, I'm not playing the same riff twice. Some of the people are going to call me out on that, man. That's gay. I'm not fucking doing that. So anyways, but the problem was Black Moonshine had already been mixed and produced and everything. It was done. It was in the can. And Crowned by Fire was like the last one. So we had to get axed off the record. And so being our first song, nobody's even ever heard it. We don't really play it live anymore. So, because it's not on the record, right? So now that's going to be one of these 3 songs. There's this song called Crowned by Fire. And I think we've been talking, I think we're actually going to do something more on the comedic end of things, like a mariachi band in a Mexican restaurant. Wow. Because we're all really funny guys, you get in the room with us, at a rehearsal or, something like that, or in the van when we're on tour and shit. It's just a fucking comedy act the whole way. So, we don't take ourselves all that seriously, But then, some of the other stuff, like Light of the Voodoo Star, is a really, really brutal song, man. And Buried Away. They're both really, really heavy. And you can't really do something funny to that. So I think one is going to be done sort of more like a green screen, kind of space age sort of, real kind of high definition, kind of out of this world sort of thing. And then the other one will probably be more, kind of grainy and sort of schizophrenic kind of vibe. So it'd be 3 different vibes. One obviously would be, comedy. So it'd be 3 different vibes, all circulating at the same time.
Yeah, we give somebody something different to look at with each video. That's awesome. It's a great idea.
Yeah, plus, it's like, I think one of the problems with metal bands, is they'll take themselves so seriously. It's just fucking lame. It's like, that's the thing with us, that we're so much different. We feel like we don't feel like we really fit in with anything. You know, we play metal shows, and, you know, they're all like Meshuggah copy bands or fucking, you know, it's all like, you know, or they're like, you know, kind of rap rock, sort of, you know, rap metal, sort of Deftones-y kind of, you know, here in LA, man, you know, people are still, some of them are stuck in the 90s, and the ones that aren't stuck in the 90s, you know, are into such extreme forms of metal that they all just sort of end up kind of sounding, you know, it's either like death metal bands or like, you know, sort of trendy kind of crossover bands. And then there's us. And so these are the bands that we get booked with, and we never fit in with any of them. You know what I mean? The only place we sort of feel like we sort of kind of fit in is like down in the South when we go and travel down there. It's like people really get it down there. You know, I mean, it's, you know, we're in Dallas. It's like that's where Pantera's from. You know, we're so influenced by that band, and it's like, you know. So, yeah. Anyways, my point is that I think that, you know, a lot of times they take themselves a little too seriously, and, you know, we kind of really wanted to show that we don't. I mean, obviously we take the music seriously and the band seriously, but ourselves, you know, we're not trying to portray some tough guy bullshit image, you know what I mean? We just make fun of ourselves.
Yeah, you are who you are, and I think a lot of people spend too much time trying to prove a point that they lose touch with who they are. You know, there's a
right. Well, we can back it up. Go ahead.
No, there's a band here in Albuquerque
I was gonna say we could back it up with our music.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like, you know, we don't have to prove anything. You know.
There's a band here that I see going to work with you guys. You know, I already have them in mind. You know, approaching them to open for you. They've got the same kind of vibe. You know, they come from, you know, influenced by Down, and they don't take themselves way too serious at all. They just hear about the music, and you know, I think you guys on a bill together would be perfect. You know, you guys are, you know, you wouldn't feel out of place.
Absolutely. You know, the only time I really take myself here, one of the times I really take myself seriously, or, you know, the band, and something that really pisses me off and really kind of gets at me, is, you know, when you don't have proper sound.
Absolutely.
Shit out of it. Yeah, you're up there on that stage, man, and it's like, you know, the fucking monitors don't work, the sound guy's being a dick. It's like, why do you even do this? You know, that stuff I take seriously. But now, if we can, you know, if we can get all those sort of details hashed out and ironed out, and we don't have problems with that kind of stuff, then, you know, by all means, man, the rest of it's all just fun. You know, that's the only thing, the only detail I ever freak out over. You know, because it's like, you know, being a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest. You can't fucking hear yourself. Yeah. You know, or you can't hear anybody else. You know, it's you know, that sucks. But,
I've seen really great bands, that get ruined by, like you said, by the sound. You know, the band is kick-ass, and if the mix is bad or the equipment's bad, it just makes for a horrible experience.
Yeah. It really makes for a horrible experience. It really makes the whole thing very unfun. You know, and you know, amateurs don't care. You know, they're used to it. They've never even had good sound. You know what I mean? But, you know, you've done, you know, sort of, once you've been to the levels that I've had, you know, that I have, you know, working with Ozzy and all that stuff, it's just like, and then you come back down to, you know, street level, and you look at everything and you go, what a fucking clusterfuck this all is, the whole thing. You know what I mean? You just like, you go into some of these clubs, man, and it's like, they got like, you know, no monitors. You know, we've done gigs where there's no monitors. We're like, how the fuck is a singer supposed to hear himself?
Right.
You know, we got, you know, so that's why it's like now, like, you know, whenever we do anything, I always try to make sure that, you know, I have somewhat of an idea of what's going on sound-wise, because that will literally ruin everything, you know. So, anyway, but I take that shit real serious, man. I don't fuck around when it comes to that. You know, I mean, we care, you know, plus, you know, we take our gear real seriously. You know, we're bringing, like, you know, we run with, like, 10 guitars, you know, multiple cabinets, multiple, you know, vintage Marshalls, you know, these guitars are, is it fucking $30,000 in Les Pauls alone, So, not to mention some of them, were given to me by Zach. So that's, we're taking that value out of it. You know what I mean? So it's, and then you show up and they've got, $500 on a PA. It's just, it's not even worth it for us to even do it. You know what I mean? So we do take that very seriously. But like I said, once that's covered, after that, man, it's all just fun from there. So the point is, I'm rambling on, but the point is that I really like to be able to push that across a little bit to everybody. And you can see from my Facebook and shit like that I'm a big clown. So I think people like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think bands like yourself and Down and Crowbar and such are going to be making a resurgence into the scene. People are tired of all the cookie cutter crap and all the over-processed crap that's out there right now. And I'm starting to see a trend in these bands, and some of the younger bands are actually falling into that sound and trying to develop that sound. And I think that 2013 is going to show a resurgence in that, and Crown by Fire is going to be leading the way in that band. And I don't just say that because, I've talked to you before, your record it stays in regular rotation. It's a record, again, that I put on and I don't skip a song. There's no filler on that record.
That was done very purposefully. I went over that record with a fine-tooth comb, and every single one of those songs, I won't even bring a riff to the table if it's not like, the riff to end all riffs. You know what I mean?
It's now being recorded.
So I guess we dropped the call.
Yeah, got lost there. But
technology.
But yeah, it's just like I learned from the best, man. You know what I mean? So, people are expecting, and my expectations of myself are so high, but people are expecting me to when you have, teachers like I did, you better come with, great songs, great riffs, great everything, man. Or they're just going to be, just going to wrench you off as a hack. So, you got to be at their level. And so, when writing that record, it was very much a part of the whole thing was to, there could not be one bad riff, one lame vocal line, one shitty Cat in the Hat lyric. There couldn't be one mistake. You know what I mean? It had to be. It was a fucking work of art, man. I mean, John and I, we took us 5 years to write that record. Maybe more like 3.5 years to write that record. 5 years to, 2 more years to finish it. But traveled all the way to Florence, Italy. All the way back here, finished it here. There's a lot of effort that went into that record, man.
And it shows. It shows. There's like, man.
But thank you. I mean, I think the funny thing is, though, dude, is that the new stuff, all these songs, these 3 songs were literally each of them written in a couple of hours. And they stand to Prone to Destroy. If not, I think they're even better.
Oh, I can't wait.
I mean, just because because now we have access. Because my buddy Chris Collier, who's going to be engineering this stuff, he's got the whole Pro Tools rig. So we're able to go over to his pad, and instead of taking 2 years to write songs and jamming them at 135 decibels, and drinking beer and fucking wasting time, it takes it makes the process go a lot slower. With having a Pro Tools rig like this, we're able to go over there with a riff, and I'll lay out a riff, and we'll just loop it, and then we got this Superior Drummer, which is a drum program, and my friend Chris is one of the greatest drummers I've ever fucking played with ever. He was actually just playing with George Lynch, with Lynch Mob.
Oh, wow.
Just did that last tour. This kid could play. He's not a kid. He's my age, but the guy could play. He could be a Meshuggah, Pantera, any of that complicated drumming. He could play it all. So anyway, basically we just, and he's an engineer and producer at the same time. So we just sit down with a riff, and he'll do, we create a drum pattern, and then we extend it, and then we'll write a chorus riff in there, and we've been doing it for so long that for us it's kind of like we could just sort of do it with our eyes closed, and we just like write out these songs, and then we have John come over, and John's like, yeah, I got these lyrics or whatever, and he'll just sing a line, and we just start. I would say, no, sing it more like this, or can you put this tail on the end of it? And next thing you know, by the end of the night, we've got a full-blown recorded song that sounds better than Prone to Destroy. I mean, literally sounds better. And we never even turned on an amp. It's just all done with like a Line 6 and a drum program and a microphone that he's holding in his hand with a pair of headphones. And that's what we've done for the pre-production demos. Now we're going, obviously, and redoing everything because we want the Marshalls and the real drums. But the drums sound fucking amazing. You wouldn't know there was a drum program. It's a thing that was is a program that was developed by Andy Sneap and John Tempesta. It's called Superior Drum. And if you're a drummer and you know what you're doing, literally you can't tell. It's all it does. It just sounds like how you want your drums to sound after you mix them and edit them. I mean, that's pretty much what it comes down to. So with that, we're able to finish these, write these songs and finish these songs at warp speed compared to what it used to take us to do it. You know what I mean? So it's really neat in that aspect.
So when you guys get into the final recordings, you're going to record with the full band. You're going to have Michael and JP, your new drummer, lay that all down.
Yeah, we're gonna. What we were gonna do was we were going to previous to these guys all doing it when Zach first offered this situation. What we were gonna do is I was just gonna take the existing pre-production stuff and go up there and redo the guitars through Zach's rig, and then redo the vocals, even though they both sound killer. But we just knew we could get better tones and better performances because we actually know how the songs go now instead of performing them for the first time on tape. So anyway, but then it was like we were just so impressed with everybody, and it just feels like so much more of a full-on band now. That it was just kind of like, why bother, it's just way more organic to have the whole band on it. I mean, that's what people want to hear. They want to hear a fucking band. They don't want to hear, an organization that two guys run and then the other guys, just kind of perform live. That's not a band, dude. So we're not trying to run a hierarchy, we're just trying to have a band. So, and these guys are all contributing financially, and stuff like that. So yeah, everybody's going to play on it, and it's going to make it even heavier,
I can't wait. A lot of people I've talked to about you guys are stoked about hearing the new music. I came on board you guys and started listening to you and started telling my friends, dragging people around saying, check this stuff out. And it's definitely needed in this community. Your style of music, what you're playing, and people are really digging it. So now I know a lot of people are really, really getting antsy to hear the new music. So it's awesome it's going to be out.
But plus too, I think I think also with like the whole Guitar Hero thing. There's a lot of guys that are out there that in my opinion, either you have like shredders or you have guys that play just the power chords on the bottom strings. And you never really have the in-between, per se. You know what I mean? Like, you have the guys that know every scale, every mode, every sweeping arpeggio, all this stuff. And then you have the guys that, just play corn riffs. You know what I mean? And, like,
yeah.
And I like to be in between. right in between. So I see a huge open window for that as well. And I've been receiving a lot of positive feedback regarding the guitar playing and how I'm going about it and the lead playing. And so, on this new stuff, what I wanted to do is I wanted to show how I could keep it simple, how I didn't need to go 1,000 miles an hour all the time. But, like in Crown by Fire, man, I'm pulling off like George Lynch, tapping. I'm doing like, Eddie Van Halen type shit.
Yeah.
So, which is something I didn't do on Prone to Destroy. So, like Mach 10. So, on one hand, I wanted to, I really wanted to explore a little bit more with the guitar playing and just kind of show some of the different things that I can do, that I'm interested in. But, I really like, Slash. I really like guys that, don't go a billion miles an hour, that just use, taste and tone. I'm really into the blues. So I tried to do that. Because there's more songs, but we're just not releasing them yet. We're just going to release the 3. And on another one of them, Space Music for Cave People, which won't be on this, the solo is really short and sweet and very sort of slashy, but it's just real kind of quick and in and out, and it just fits the song perfectly, and I love it. It's the perfect solo, man, in my opinion. So.
Very cool. I'm excited. You guys are moving forward and you're growing. Definitely one of my favorite bands that I've been listening to lately. I just can't wait to see you guys take off, and it's definitely a grassroots movement to get you going. But you guys are standing up and manning up and backing up what you say you're going to do, and you're doing it. And doing it.
Well, what we're doing is we're doing what Zach tells me to do, to be quite honest with you.
Right.
I talk to the dude every day. I just talked to him this morning before I got on the phone with you. And, when we do talk about the band, about CBF, it's, you got to do this, and you got to do this, and you got to tour. And you got to, the whole thing started with like, so what's the next deal, dude? So we're going to record another record or what? Well, yeah, but we don't have the finances to do that. Oh, well, how about this, and this? I can help you in this way. Okay, but you got to do this and this and this. And then you got to follow it up with touring. Well, but we all have jobs, and we all have, some of us have kids. And well, then I hope you like your day job, motherfucker. That's what he told me.
Right.
Straight out. I hope you like your day job then. Because you want to fucking do what I'm doing, you better get your ass out there. You figure it out, dude. You fucking get it fucking done. There are no excuses. The plate department is closed. If you want to do this, you have to go. You gotta be ballsy, man. You guys are so fucking great. It shouldn't be that hard. He's got a point. So That's what we're doing. You know what I mean? The guy's the president of an empire.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he obviously knows what the fuck he's talking about, and I'm in a very, very unique position to be able to talk to the guy on a daily basis. Just like as a friend. So it's most people don't have that. Dime didn't have that. Sabbath didn't have that. You know what I mean? I have that in my back pocket. So it's kind of cool. It's a free advice,
Yeah, absolutely. And coming from that caliber of a person, it's got to give you the spark and fire that you need, which I'm sure it does.
Yeah. Absolutely. We're not talking about just some guy, and we're not talking about the guitar player for fucking Papa Roach, man. We're talking about, one of the most prolific guitar players of the 21st century. The guy's in every guitar magazine. You cannot pick up a guitar magazine and not see him in there somewhere, at least in a fucking ad, if not on the cover. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's insane the level. I always knew that he was that great. I always knew that. But You know, it took him a while for the rest of the world to really kind of coin him as, you know, being one of the best. And again, it was, you know, that was just through consistency. He just never stopped. You know, that's what he always tells me, is don't stop. And eventually you're going to end up somewhere. Whether it's at the top or somewhere in the middle, you're going to end up somewhere as long as you don't stop, because everybody else stops. Even, you know, in the big time, you know, they give up. They don't want to tour. You know, he likes touring. He thinks it's cool. He likes the bus. He likes the guitars. He likes the fucking, he told me one time I was over at his house, he goes, dude, I don't get it. Everybody fucking complains about touring. Oh, I don't want to fucking tour. I don't want to tour. He goes, I gotta stay in a hotel. What the fuck's wrong with staying in a hotel? Because you get this bitchin' room. It's clean. You clean sheets every day. You don't have to fucking clean them yourself. Your plate, you get a maid. You know, and you're in a different city. You get to see the world. What the fuck is wrong with that? I don't get it. Because I love it, man. That was straight out of the dude's mouth, you know. It's just
you get to meet different people.
Way. Yeah, you know.
And you get to meet your fan base and tell them, you know, and you get it right from their mouths what they're liking, what they're listening to, and if you're truly out there enjoying your craft, you're going to learn from that experience, and it's going to be well worth your time and effort getting out there and hitting all these different places.
Right. That's right. Well, I mean, one of the biggest things that I learned from him, you know, was just, you know, attitude, the position of your attitude, the position in which you stand on things. You know, whether you look at the cup is half full or half empty. You know, if you know, something fucked up happens, you know, you gotta find something funny in it. You know, I mean, it's like, you know, it's like being in the army or something. You know what I mean? It's just all about, you know, it's all about your mental position, you know, and how you handle the bumps in the road, or how you know, handle the things that sort of suck, you know, and that's, you know, and again, you know, that's how you know, that's what I learned through touring with him, you know, was just how to deal with it, you know, how to laugh at it, you know, and it was just little things I didn't even realize until more lately. Until, like, you know, my band started becoming more and more successful, that I'd learned these things from him, because I wasn't thinking about it at the time. I didn't even understand what he was trying to teach me. You know, all I was trying to learn was, you know, guitar licks. You know what I mean? But I learned so much more from the guy. It just through the traveling and just, you know, the things that you don't know you're going to have to deal with when you do get a deal and start touring and things like that. You know, it really changes everything, man. But
very cool.
So yeah.
And now we know. We know what's going on in the Crown by Fire camp. We know that you guys are going to be hitting the road. I definitely recommend anybody that's listening, if Crown by Fire comes anywhere near you, you check these guys out. Not only you're going to get a kick-ass rock and roll show, you're going to see some really cool, down-to-earth individual people. You get a chance to stop by and talk to them, because I've talked to Justin several times, and he's the real deal, man.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, you've been listening to Crown by Fire guitarist Justin Manning on the Hellion Rocks. Thanks.